Good morning, I'm One Kidney Mike. I donated a kidney in February of 2025, and now I'm climbing all 27 peaks in Montana that are greater than 12,000 feet to prove that kidney donation doesn't hold you back. So I'm here at my base camp, which I established yesterday. I am now going to be heading up to both Whitetail and Silver Run Peak. There's a bunch of switchbacks are right here that go up to a saddle between the two. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. It is forecasted to have some thunderstorms in the afternoon, potentially, like about 30% chance. So we'll kind of just play that by ear. I'm starting out a little bit later than I wanted to at 7 o'clock, but that's okay. I'm not sure what the water situation is up there. Hopefully I'm bringing enough. I don't want to bring too much because I have over 2,500 feet of elevation to gain, and I don't want to be carrying a lot of extra water. I know that there's got to be some snow fields up there, and if it's going to be warm, they're going to be melting. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find some water up there. Well, right there's Whitetail, and you can see that snowfield that goes most of the way up to the top. I was reading on Summit Post that is actually a route you can take. It didn't sound too bad if you're versed in snow travel, not to mention don't mind going up 50-degree inclines, which I'm not going to attempt, but it's just interesting to read some of these routes. I've noticed that now that I'm at above 9,500 feet, that I'm getting a lot more winded. The altitude makes quite a bit of difference, and I'm sure that that's going to become even more of an effect as I continue to ascend. Well, I've gone just a little over 2.25 miles and 1,000 feet up. In fact, right down there, you can see where I camped. But there have been a ton of switchbacks, which has been great because I've just been able to steadily keep moving. And if you look at the trail, while it's not smooth, it's just so much easier than it would be if I were to, try and walk up there. That's the saddle I'm working towards. I made it to the top of Sundance Pass. You're gonna be going, that way is Silver Run. Can't actually see the peak from here. And there's Whitetail. You can barely see the peak right there because of this large rock mound. That's Sundance Mountain right there, center frame. And then Bowback over there. So those are the 4 that we're gonna be shooting for. Should be able to get 2 done today. I'm going to take a little break, put some sunscreen on now that I'm in the sun, eat a snack, and then continue on. That's a lot of boulders that I've been having to go over, but it's not too bad. Although I'm pretty sure that I can feel the difference in elevation. I can finally see the peak, which is right there. And then there's this massive ravine right there. Well, I made it to the top of Silver Run Peak at 12,542 feet. There's a false peak over there, but this is the true summit, and the view is impressive. Well, that's one peak down, which is awesome. Pretty awesome view. And the peak goes right up to that ledge, which is amazing. A little scary. I decided to get down off of the peak because, as usual, at the top it's windy and I wanted to get out of the wind. Not to mention that wind is cold, so I wanted to eat a snack, and then I'm gonna head over to Whitetail, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to attempt it. The weather still looks like it's holding, and it's 11 o'clock, but we'll see when we get to the pass. This took a lot longer than I thought it would take, just because it is slow going over these boulder fields, but also I really can feel the elevation. I don't want to head over to Whitetail if it looks like there are going to be some thunderstorms, because I know that I'm not going to be able to quickly get down off the mountain, just because the elevation is taking a toll on me. I've gone through quite a few of these boulder fields. They're not the easiest thing to navigate, but I actually am starting to already feel better as I descend. I think I've just gotten through the last of the major boulder fields. Obviously, I'm still going to be encountering some. Thing I noticed when I compare that to last week and when I was at Sawtooth was that these rocks here are very solid. And what I mean too is you saw me walk across kind of sideways on that one boulder, and not only is the boulder solid, but I was able to get a good solid grip on it. And at Sawtooth, there just weren't many places where you could get a good grip like that when you were hiking through. Everything was just so loose and slippery. If it had been loose like that going through that boulder field, I would have had a lot harder time. I wouldn't have felt as confident, but pretty much I was just kind of walking. I wasn't even trying to find like an optimal path, but it was just so much more of a joy going through that boulder field than it was over at Sawtooth. The weather doesn't look too bad, so, and I'm feeling a lot better now that I've descended. So I think I'm going to try whitetail. There's the pass or the saddle between Silver Run and Whitetail. I'm a little bit above because it was so windy down there. I decided maybe I could find a little bit of shelter from the wind while I ate my lunch. I'm gonna do that. The weather's looking okay, actually. It does look like it's going to rain. So the forecast said showers and possibly thunderstorms. I'm going to take a chance and go ahead and go up there. By the looks of this, I have a feeling that this peak is going to be a lot less straightforward. But I can do it. Whitetail Peak is starting to get pretty imposing. I still have approximately 1,000 feet more to go vertically. That is an impressive peak. That's the peak. That's what I have to do. I can see there's a trail, goes around the backside there. And then this snow right here should be the tail of Whitetail Peak that some people evidently can use as a route. Yeah, I could see people doing that, not me. I made it to the top. I am so happy I made it up here. When I was over at Silver Run, I was questioning whether I could make it up here because it seemed like the altitude was really getting to me. However, as you can see, weather is moving in now, and as I summited, I heard thunder. So I need to get down immediately. But it's beautiful and awesome. And there was a couple of parts on the way down where I really got to be careful on the way down, because they are definitely class 3 with some exposure. With all that said, I need to get down. Well, that was the part I was able to down climb it fairly quickly and without too much trouble, which I'm really proud of myself, because I was really worried about being able to get back down. It was easy going up. It's just going down is always more difficult. Look at those rocks just perched there. I swear, the rock formations around here are really interesting and cool. All right, I made it back to base camp. Oh, thank goodness. Those switchbacks, they took forever. I mean, it was great that they're there, but it just seemed like I just kept going and going and going. Probably because I was already exhausted. Oh. Well, the only thunder that I heard was actually when I was on the summit of Whitetail. And we got 2 summits today, which I'm really happy about. The elevation really makes a big difference. This was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm really happy I got whitetail, but I'm really surprised that I was able to make it in the end. That concludes today. I really want to thank you for watching. Please, if you liked it, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, all that good YouTube stuff, and I hope that you have a great day.